English Boost podcast from Speak English Journey.
Hello, English learners, and welcome back to Speak English Journey. I'm your host, Julia, and with me, as always, is my co-host and partner in language learning, Mark.
Hey, everyone! It's fantastic to be back with you all. I'm especially excited about today, Julia, because we're really digging into the nitty-gritty of practical English.
That's right. Today, we're doing something a little different. Instead of just focusing on one topic, we're giving you a master list, 100 essential sentences for everyday English. We've divided these up into practical scenarios that you'll encounter all the time, from grabbing a coffee to asking for directions.
And the key here isn't just to list the sentences. We're going to break each one down. We'll explain the context, the meaning, and we'll introduce you to some really useful phrasal verbs and collocations that native speakers use all the time. Think of this as your survival guide to English conversation. So let's not waste any time. Let's get started with the foundation of any interaction, greetings and small talk.
Let's start with the basics. You've probably been taught "How are you?" since day one, and while it's perfectly correct, in real life you'll hear variations. A very common and slightly more casual greeting is, "How's it going?"
Absolutely. Is a great one for a friend or a colleague, and a simple polite response that you can use with anyone is, "I'm doing well, thanks. And you?" This is a full sentence that shows good manners and keeps the conversation flowing.
And remember the difference between meeting someone for the first time and seeing an acquaintance. When it's the first time, say, "It's nice to meet you." If it's someone you already know, it's more natural to say, "It's good to see you again." That again makes all the difference.
To move beyond just a simple greeting, you can use a great phrasal verb. Ask someone, "What have you been up to?" The phrasal verb to be up to something means, "What have you been doing?" or "What have you been busy with?"
A common humble response if you haven't been doing anything spectacular is, "Not much, just the usual." From there, you can transition into asking about their work. The best way to do this is to say, "What do you do for a living?" The collocation for a living means as a profession.
That's right. And to respond, you can use a clear structure like, "I work as a teacher." For example, "I work as a graphic designer." And of course, no conversation is complete without talking about where people are from. You can ask, "Where are you from?"
And give a full answer. "I'm from New York, but I live in Frankfurt now." This gives more information and allows for follow-up questions. And finally, for those moments of awkward silence, you can always rely on the weather. For instance, "The weather is lovely today."
Okay, let's move on to the practical stuff. Shopping and running errands. These are situations where you need to be clear and direct.
The first thing you might need to do is find something. So you can ask a store clerk, excuse me, where can I find the Shape Moo?" And when you find something you like, the most direct way to ask the price is, "How much does this cost?"
If you're looking to save money, you'll want to ask if the item is discounted. The correct way to ask is this on sale? The collocation "on sale" means at a reduced price. Don't confuse it with "for sale," which just means it's available to buy.
That's a great point, Mark. And sometimes you're not ready to buy and just want to look around. You can politely say to a store employee, "I'm just browsing, thanks." The phrasal verb to browse around means to look at items in a store without the immediate intention of buying anything.
When you've made your decision, you can simply tell the clerk, "I'll take this, please." And then at the checkout, you'll have to deal with payments. You can ask, "Can I pay by card?" to check if they accept credit or debit cards.
And always, always ask for a receipt. It's crucial for returns or exchanges. Just say, "Could I have a receipt, please?" And if you need to take an item back, you can say, "I'd like to return this, please."
Julia, you know it's another common situation? When you want to return or exchange something. A common reason for a return is that something doesn't fit. You can say, "It's a bit too big small for me," or "It's the wrong size."
Exactly. And what about when you have something in mind, but you're not sure if they have it? You can ask, Do you have this in a different size or color? This is a great way to show you're serious about the purchase, but need a variation. Time for the most delicious part of our episode, ordering food and drinks. This is where your confidence can really shine.
First, you have to get a table. You can say, "A table for two, please," or whatever your number is. Once you're seated, you'll need the menu. A simple and effective way to ask is, "Can I see the menu?"
If you want a recommendation, ask the server, "What do you recommend?" This is a fantastic way to discover a new dish or just get some guidance. When you've decided, you can say, "I'll have the dish, please." For example, "I'll have the spaghetti bolognese, please."
And don't be afraid to ask about the ingredients if you have allergies or dietary restrictions. For instance, "Is this dish spicy?" Or "I'm vegetarian vegan." These phrases are super important.
They really are. And if you've had a fantastic meal and want to let the staff know, you can say, "The food was delicious, thank you." It's a small gesture, but it's always appreciated.
When it's time to pay, you'll need to ask for the bill. In the UK, we say, "Could we have the bill, please?" But in the US, you'll hear them ask for the check instead. So you can also say, "Could we have the check, please?"
And if you want to take your leftovers home, you can ask for a container by saying, "Can I get this to go?" The collocation "to go" is a quick, easy way to say for takeout.
And finally, for tipping. If you've paid in cash and you want the server to keep the change as their tip, you can just say, "Keep the change." This is a common phrase that everyone understands.
Getting around a new city can be intimidating. Let's make it easier with some key phrases for asking for and giving directions.
My number one phrase for this is, "Excuse me, how do I get to cinema?" It's polite and direct. You can also ask about the distance. "Is it far from here?"
When you're giving directions, you'll use some very common verbs. For example, "Go straight ahead," or "Turn left/right at the next corner."
Another useful phrasal verb is go past. For instance, "Go past the big blue building." This means to walk or drive beyond it. You can also give an estimate of time, which is super helpful. For instance, "It's about a 10-minute walk." Or if it's very easy to find, you can say, "You can't miss it."
What if you're not looking for a specific address, but a type of place? You can say, "I'm looking for the nearest ATM," or "Is there a bus stop nearby?"
And if you're completely lost, don't be afraid to say so. You can say, "I think I'm a bit lost." Or a very polite and slightly more formal way to ask for help is, "Could you point me in the right direction?"
The collocation "point someone in the right direction" is a great idiom that means to provide guidance.
For our final section, we're covering those general day-to-day interactions. These are the small phrases that can make a big difference.
First, if you don't understand something, don't just nod. You can say, "Could you please repeat that?" Or, "Could you speak a bit slower, please?" People are always happy to help if you ask politely.
And when you're in a conversation, you can ask for someone's opinion by saying, "What do you think about last night's party?" To give your own opinion, a great way to start is, "In my opinion," or simply, "I think."
To show you agree with someone, you can use a simple phrase like, "I agree," or a more casual one like, "That's a good point." If you disagree, you can say, "I'm not sure about that." It's a soft way to express doubt.
When you're making plans, a great British English phrase is ask, "Do you fancy soccer?" The collocation "fancy something" means you feel like doing it. You can answer with a very enthusiastic, "I'd love to," or a polite refusal, "Maybe another time."
Another great phrasal verb is to look forward to. You use this to express anticipation for something. For instance, "I'm really looking forward to the weekend."
And finally, a great way to end a conversation with a new friend is to say, "It was lovely chatting with you." The phrasal verb "to chat with" means to have an informal conversation. Then, to excuse yourself, you can say, "I've got to run," or "I have to go."
Well, that brings us to the end of our 100 sentences. We know that was a lot of information, but we hope this extended guide helps you feel more confident and prepared for real-life conversations.
We'll be back next week with a new episode of Speak English Journey. Until then, keep practicing and happy speaking!